What's going on, beautiful Facebook world? It's the being known as Shanice Star coming all up in your space to interrupt the indeed programming, programming taking place. So, coming here really quickly, just had a super duper dope, awesome Bikram yoga session and about to enjoy a super duper amazing steam bath. Yet, in the midst of me coming back to my sanctuary, I was making some phone calls to invite folks out for tomorrow who are in alignment with putting their affairs in order. And I had an awesome conversation with Sister Girl Melissa. Shout out to Sister Girl Melissa, literally. But let me see who might be available to chop it up with me. Again, this is going to be really, really brief, right? For those of you who, I hate the word follow, yet who tune into my posts, you kind of know the theme that I've been on quite consistently. So just a really quick blurb, right? And then I'm out of here. Yet, let me see who might be available to chop it up really quickly. For those of you who are already on, peace, love, and light. I am glad that you have chosen to share some of your moments with me, in understanding that you could be doing anything right now with anybody, yet you have chosen to tune into Shanice Star. And I do not take that lightly, so I appreciate you. And if this message hits home for you, please do share it with someone else, whether you actually share this particular live or whether you just share the information in a conversation. All right, again, just seeing who else might be available really quickly because I like to communicate, and communication comes other people, right? If I'm just talking, it doesn't matter if someone else is here, but if I'm communicating, it would be nice if others were here. So give me 1 second. Not saying that those of you who are here aren't enough. You definitely are more than enough yet. You get my point. mm. These are indeed exciting times. I promise you guys, these are exciting times. And I trust that your life is reflecting that for you as well. All right, lovelies. Melissa, I just gave you a shout out. Mwah! I just gave you a shout out, Reina. All right, beautiful people. Hey, Stephanie, how are you, beautiful? I believe Rhonda's here with us. All right, so really quickly, as I just mentioned, right, in the midst of me, in my 360 flow, awesome Bikram yoga session, went and got my alkaline water, about to have a steam bath. Also, again, multitasking, I was making some phone calls with regard to tomorrow's forum that we have free to the community, right? And one of those calls was the amazing Melissa. And when I called Melissa, right, she was letting me know how she had went back to work. She worked in a medical facility, and how they had a speaker come in and was having a conversation with the staff. And she was like, Shanice, I was going to take a picture of the document and send it to you because you are the person I thought of when they were having this conversation. Now, many of you hear me talk about wills and having our affairs in order. Yet they were speaking from the subject matter of course, healthcare proxies and, of course, living wills. And as far as being in a medical, arena, dealing basically with patients, going into surgeries, not knowing basically what's actually going to happen. And they were really doing their best to hit home as far as people really got to have their stuff in order. Like, literally, like, you have moments to decide someone's life. And again, this is not what I'm saying. I believe, and Melissa, correct me if I'm wrong if you're still here, I believe you said it was an anesthesiologist who was actually speaking. And so this is not even my words, even though these are things that I'm saying right now. I'm not even speaking my words. I'm speaking third party, third party in a medical facility. They had basically a meeting with the staff regarding patients and how people really need to have their affairs in order. And they were talking about, from what Melissa shared with me, how people aren't even having the conversations. Sounds familiar, doesn't it? It makes sense why Melissa thought about Shanice Starr when she heard that. That people aren't even having the conversations. She was talking about how people don't even know what they will want. That their families don't even know what they will want. So even basically if someone's down as your power, healthcare proxy, power of attorney, it's like, do I even know what you would want me to do? People aren't having the conversation, right? It's uncomfortable. It's not pleasant. Yet, in case no one told us, we're not making it out of this situation alive. Right? Energy doesn't die, right? It just transforms. Yet from a physical perspective, yeah, death is gonna come to all of us. And sometimes we really gotta come to face our mortality. Like from a physical, it's gonna come to us. Now we don't know how we're gonna transition. Yet again, it's like, so if I know that this is inevitable, it's not theory, it's not a sales tactic, it's not a scare tactic. This is what it is. Why am I really going through life and not preparing? Right, yesterday when we were at Coach T's event and she asked people to speak up for up and coming events, and I was sharing, about us doing will parties and having these conversations, and by all means invite us over to your home. And I let them know, with all due respect, you're pretty much insensitive and disrespectful and selfish if you don't have your affairs in order. For the people you're leaving behind, it's insensitive. It's insensitive. So bringing it back to what Melissa was sharing with me when she went to work, about now these family members have to make these decisions. Like, I don't know. We never talked about it. I don't know what they would have wanted. And you have minutes in some cases to freaking decide. Minutes to decide. You want to talk about a weight that you live with, not knowing if you made the right decision? It's one thing to have to feel sorrow and sad because someone's in a predicament or they transition. It's another thing to have an added weight, not knowing if you made the right decision. Right? So this is coming from the medical profession, the medical arena, them talking about how many people do not have these things in order and how it's unfortunate. So now if you don't even have healthcare power of attorney, yet someone that is, and they don't even know what to do, and the doctors are looking at you, and keep in mind, when you are ill, when you're about to go into surgery, that is not the time to make these decisions. This is what people don't get. That is not the time to make those decisions when you are emotional and you're not rational. You want to make those decisions when you are mad happy, when these are indeed exciting times, when death is not in your sight knowingly, right? When you don't even know, like you're like, I'm great right now, things are awesome. That's the time to put it in order. When you're feeling amazing, not when you are faced with being told you have 2 months to live, not when because somebody else died and now you want to put your affairs in order, right? So just again, I'm sharing this with you because Melissa shared it with me. She thought about me, and I'm coming here with you because I understand the role conversations play in taking action. It's amazing how many people don't understand the power of conversations, as if we just act without ever having a conversation, right? So I understand, like, if you didn't grow up in a household where people talked about wills and living wills and healthcare proxies and living responsibly and not procrastinating. That was a whole other conversation I was having with Melissa. Like, it's amazing how we procrastinate on something that we don't know when it's going to happen. So we procrastinate in doing something that deals with something that we don't know when it's going to happen. It's like, oh, girl, in 2 weeks I'll hit you up. Or girl, after Labor Day. So you know what's going to happen with you in the next couple of days, weeks. And again, it's not a scare tactic. This is what it is. Like, pay attention to just life, right? So here the anesthesiologist, again, was sharing, families really got to start having these conversations. The time is not to have the conversation when you're in the hospital. It's not the time to have a conversation when the doctors are saying, we need to know in a half an hour. Like, that is not the time to have that conversation. The key is to be proactive, beautiful people. The key is to see, so many people don't want to have these conversations because of the narrative we have around these conversations. We keep thinking that having these things in order deals with death when it deals more with life. I'm going to say that again. We keep thinking it means more about death when it really means more about life. right? Living will, that deals with your quality of life. Even wills. It's not for you. You're gone. You're dead. It's for the people you're leaving behind who are living. Right? So we're here to help shift the narrative and the numbers when we talk about these things, that it should not be a sad thing, if you will. It's only a sad thing if you're literally about to, like, you're on the deathbed. But if you're like, look, I'm about to go partying tonight, I'm going hanging out tonight, like, it's not a sad thing at that point. Yet again, if we're feeling this way, it's because, oh, we still think we're immortal. Our energy is, but we still think our physical body is immortal. Oh, that's the first issue we have to deal with. Once we are good with our mortality and realize, like, it is what it is. Now let me live responsibly, right? And I was sharing that with Melissa, like on this side of town, right? Within our Black Women's Club, we're here about being the alternative and not the average, right? The average person procrastinates. The average person doesn't have their affairs in order. The average person puts off to tomorrow what they can do today. No, 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 no. We're here to be the alternative, right? I don't want to be the average. No, thank you, right? So it's, why would I want to put this off? And why would I put it off not even knowing when things are going to happen? I have no idea. I'm going to go take my steam bath. I have no idea if I'm going to come out of my steam bath. I have no idea if I'm going to make it to my event tomorrow. I mean, I'm in tune, right? Yet, how many in tune people we know that transitioned before they thought they was going to transition? Right? So again, beautiful people, not a scare tactic, not a sales tactic, not even theory. We're checking out of here. We're checking out of here. We don't know when, but we do know that we can make decisions today. So again, be mindful of being insensitive. And pardon me if you're taking that as a judgment, right? I say it with the best of intentions. Yet tell me what you would call it if you know you're going to transition. If you know that your family is going to have to clean up your mess or clean up after you when you transition, and you know you can do something about that in advance, where they won't have to make the decision whether or not to pull the plug, not pull the plug, how long to keep them on, how long to take them off, what they would want, what they would. If we know that I could just nip that I could prevent that. Can't prevent my death, but I can prevent the headaches. I can prevent the chaos. I can prevent the extra tears. I can prevent the confusion, the chaos. I can prevent those things. But I think I won't. I think I'll procrastinate a little bit longer. What would you call that? Aside from, of course, us not being programmed to do. What else would you call that if it's not insensitive, if it's not selfish? What else would you call it? To know that you could eliminate that from happening, yet you choose not to take steps in doing so. What else would you call that? So again, beautiful people. Oh, and as a result of that, right, I was talking to Melissa. I said, great, those are for the patients, but what about the people that work there, your employees? Like, have me come on up in there. I have the conversations anywhere and everywhere. Have me come on up in there. So we're working on that, right? So shout out to those of you who have been hitting me up to have the family dinners, to have the will party, to have the discussions as we come through with our balloons and as we come through with our music and as we come through understanding that we're shifting the narrative and changing the numbers, because it's more about how we're living opposed to how we're dying. So yes, shout out to those of you who have been hitting me up. We're booking the calendar out, beautiful people. Yeah, these are indeed exciting times, beautiful folks. So with that being stated, it's the being known as Shanice Star officially chiming out, sending peace, love, and light to each and every one of you. And if you're having these conversations with yourself, please make sure that you are paying it forward and having it with someone else. You got your affairs in order, great. Talk to your sister, talk to your brother, talk to your mother, talk to your bestie, talk to anyone who, if their affairs weren't in order, you would be affected by it. I'm going to say that again. Talk to anyone as to where if their affairs weren't in order, that you would be affected by it. You would have to be making the decisions. Have those conversations with those beings, beautiful folks. The more we have these conversations, the more it becomes the norm, and the more we'll begin to shift those numbers. Peace, love, and light. And I'm out.